Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Danny and this is 5 Acre Homestead. Today we're doing a full DIY do-it-yourself video all about maple trees, starting them yourselves from seed, and essentially doing it the easiest way. Now, introducing our trusty backyard maple tree. I believe this guy is a silver maple. There are a ton of different other species of maple trees, but this process should work for all of them. Now, this is probably the easiest process that I've currently found to grow your own maple tree. And essentially it requires no germination of the seed and no stratification of the seed. And so essentially, if you know anything about maple trees, you'll know that in the late winter, early spring, they drop thousands of seed pods all over your yard, all over your lawn, everywhere. I probably have a couple thousand sitting around me right here, right now. And those seed pods are also known as samaras. It's S-A-M-A-R-A-S, I believe. And you probably know just what they look like. They look like this. Kind of like that. These are the ones that kind of float down and helicopter down onto your lawn. And you can kind of see this one has a sprout on it right here. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking for to continue our process. So let's get further into the video. What you're going to need is a plate and a damp paper towel on the plate. Let's go get it. So here's our plate and here is our damp paper towel. Now essentially all we're going to do, you guys, is we're going to go hunting for sprouts in the yard. So again, we have thousands of these little samaras or seed pods in our yard. And all we got to do is look pretty closely for the bright green maple seed tree sprouts. And essentially we have one right here. So all we're gonna do is very carefully pull it from the root, just like that, and then gently put it down on our paper towel. Now we're gonna do this quite a few times because I plan on planting quite a bit, and if I have a lot of left over, then I'm planning on maybe selling them, but we want a few to kind of line our driveway for the fall, and that's the reason we're doing this, so we can get some more maple trees on our property. Anyways, let's get to picking some maple seed tree sprouts, and we'll load this plate up, show you what it looks like. Stay. Now the place that I've actually found the most sprouted seeds has been kind of right here in the crack in the patio. They've all sprouted really, really nice. So kind of like that. That is what we're looking for, just like that. Now there's a bit of a backstory to how I actually learned to grow maple trees using this process, and it goes all the way back to the childhood house that I grew up in here in North Idaho. Now, when you think of this house, you think of the two massive, massive maple trees that grew in the backyard. And I mean, they were huge, taller than this house. And, you know, I grew up swinging from the branches, climbing the trees. And when we went to sell that house in '06, the house was in kind of like the final stages of closing. And I remember my sister and I, we drove to the house before the actual new owners moved in. And we found all of these maple tree seed sprouts in the backyard. And we didn't really know if it would work or not, but we pulled them, put them on the hot dash of the car, brought them home, and we were able to grow maple trees. And we planted basically seeds from the old ones into new trees for the new house, and if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I learned this process, and it works really well. So basically we've got our plate here of maple tree seed sprouts, and we're gonna go inside and I'll show you what the next step of the process looks like. So we're inside. Next step of the process, you're going to need a large bowl. Now I like glass because I like to see the roots grow while this process continues, but let's fill it up with water and I'll show you what we do next. So here's our bowl full of water. We've got our sprouts, and next we just need some saran wrap. I'm gonna take the plastic wrap, try to make it nice and snug, nice and tight on there, and then tear it off, maybe, and then kind of like so. Now we're just gonna take a knife and poke a bunch of holes. Kind of like so. One for every sprout. Kind of like that. Now you guys, all we're going to do is take every sprout that we picked and put it into the hole and into the water. Kind of like that. And I should say these maple sprouts, they're pretty resilient. It's kind of hard to mess this process up. But that's kind of what they'll look like. Now when I get all of these in, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is kind of what we ended up with. 2 bowls full of maple tree sprouts, full of water. We just poked holes in the saran wrap, put them in, and then we're just going to give it about a week, week and a half or so, and they should develop more of a structured root system, and they'll grow really nicely. And in about a week, week and a half or so, should look something like this. This is one that I planted, again, about a week, week and a half ago, and it's growing really, really nicely. And it's about ready to plant. So I'm actually going to plant this guy off camera. So when we come back in a week, week and a half or so to plant all of these, you'll kind of see a sneak peek of what they'll look like after that using this plant as an example. So got a ton of maple trees here, and yeah, so we'll see you guys in a little bit of time, a week, week and a half, and yeah, I'll show you the next step of the process and we'll get into planting. Okay, welcome back. It's actually been 2 weeks since I filmed last, and as you guys can see, these little maple trees have grown a lot in the last 2 weeks. This is the little one that was actually in the mason jar originally that I said I was going to plant off camera, and it's growing a lot as well. It's growing really big, and yeah, now I'm just gonna show you guys what to do from here and how I'm going to plant them. So, just like this one, I used a little yogurt cup, and that's what we're gonna use here. Okay, so here I've got some moisture control potting mix or potting soil, and then I've got 3 little yogurt containers that I'm gonna use to show you guys how I'm gonna plant 3 of these little maple trees. So, same container that I used for this one, and it worked perfectly. So let's get to it. So we'll take one of our containers, get ready to make a mess, put some newspaper down if you want to, and we're just gonna fill it, you know, kinda, probably about 2/3 of the way or so. Kinda like so. I'm gonna push it down, and then all I'm going to do is just make kind of a little hole so we can plant our maple tree. So kind of like that. So now all we're gonna do is take one of our trees out of its hole, kind of like that. You guys can see how many roots have really grown on these. And then all we're going to do is put it down into our hole, into the yogurt cup, put more dirt around it, and it's as simple as that. So let's get some more potting mix. And then I just kind of like to compress the dirt around it, make sure it's kind of packed in there nicely. And then just kind of like that. This tree's got kind of a weird little curve to it, but it'll kind of grow out, and we'll do another one here in a second. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We just got done planting 3 more of these little maple trees, and hopefully within a couple of weeks, they will all start to look like their older cousin right here. Now, as far as watering goes, what I've been doing with this guy is I'm just giving it a splash of water every couple of days, just trying to keep the soil nice and moist, and it seems to be doing a fantastic job. Now, within the next couple of months, when these trees continue to mature, I'll be transplanting them into bigger pots, and hopefully by midsummer, we'll have them planted here on the property. So if you guys want to be a part of that and you want to see how these trees progress and grow, I'd love to have you along on the channel. So be sure to subscribe to it, thumbs up the video, and comment down below, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.